grow up with our parents telling us what's right, what's wrong, if we're good or bad. Then it's our teachers, and after those 18 years, it becomes our own selves. We got so used to being judged by others that we developed an inner voice that's always finding fault and critiquing what we do. But is it possible to break out of this? According to Don Miguel Ruiz, author of the best-selling book, The 4 Agreements, there is a way. Lucky for you, we read it so you don't have to, and today you'll get the full summary along with 4 challenges to complete, because it's not just about reading, but putting it into action. None of us picked our parents, our teachers, the place we live, or the language we speak. And like these, there are many other elements that are outside of our control when growing up. However, they definitely play a huge factor in what we consider right or wrong, and this is what the author refers to as domestication. But how often do we question if the statements and assumptions from our friends, parents, or teachers are what we want to live by, or if they're even correct? You might have been taught that the only way to be considered successful is by having an Ivy League degree and a 6-figure job, when there are many people around the world being successful without one or the other. The following 4 agreements will help you break away from the beliefs that are keeping you unhappy and serve as a guide for reinventing a life you can be proud of. However, before learning the 4 agreements, there are 3 steps you need to take care of. Without these 3 steps, the 4 agreements will be useless and have no effect. Step 1, become aware of your harmful agreements. These are beliefs that you might have been taught that deep down you know don't make sense for the life you're working towards. Step 2, forgive. If you don't forgive your past, you are filled with resentment and have so much weight to carry that it won't allow you to implement the 4 agreements that will transform your life. Lastly, step 3, remember that each day could be your last. Living in the present gives you the motivation needed to be your best self today. Not tomorrow, but today. So here's how you get started. Number 1, be impeccable with your words. First, with how you speak and think of yourself, and then with your thoughts and words about other people. When you frequently criticize and blame yourself, you're actually working against yourself. Imagine trying to run faster while having someone in your ear saying you're slow and you can't go any longer. In order to combat this usual habit that we're all guilty of doing, try challenge number 1 for the following week. Make a list on your favorite notes app with 2 columns, one for negative talk and the other for positive feedback. Create tally marks throughout the day when you catch yourself either judging or giving others and yourself praise. For 90% of us, the negative column will outweigh the positives. So having the visual representation will hopefully make you mindful and create the opposite effect the next week. Agreement number 2 is to never take anything personally. When someone is angry, upset, yelling, and even aggressive, it's not you, it's them. Having that awareness to recognize that will allow you to break free from letting other people's emotions affect yours. The more you practice this, the more confidence and trust you develop for yourself. Sadly, the habit of domestication has led us to be reliant on others' emotions and approvals when it should be coming from within. For challenge number 2, you'll have to keep it top of mind, because there's no way of knowing when you'll be faced with the situation. But next time you are confronted by someone because they are angry, upset, or frustrated, your main goal is to count to 3 and say, I understand, without it letting affect how you're feeling. In the moment, you'll notice a big difference, because usually in those situations, our human instinct is to automatically react and get defensive while arguing for our own point of view, when in reality, the person that started an argument is probably triggered from something else that happened throughout their day and is only taking it out on you. Agreement number 3 is to avoid making assumptions. 99% of the time, our assumptions come from our active imaginations versus coming from the reality of the situation we're facing. Like that friend that didn't get a call back from her boyfriend and automatically assumed he was having an affair with someone else, when in reality, he was just watching football with his friends. That situation could have easily been avoided. Imagine the reaction the boyfriend had after hearing the girl's false assumptions and the whole story she made up in her head. Pretty embarrassing, right? And we're all guilty of this because we all do this, and it happens all the time. Many misunderstandings and arguments could actually be avoided if we all worked on this agreement together. For challenge number 3, you'll actually be incorporating one of the steps from former FBI negotiator Chris Voss. Instead of making an assumption, reword your statement with "it seems like ... or "it sounds like ... This way you're asking a question without incorrectly assuming. There's 9 more tips like this one that you can use when negotiating inside the Never Split the Difference book review we have up on the channel. Lastly, agreement number 4 is to always do your best. Quieting the voice in your head isn't always the easiest thing to do, but making sure that voice isn't judging or criticizing is actually much easier. When you know you've done your best, you'll automatically fight back and cancel out the voice that's saying you didn't do good enough. You'll also develop self-acceptance and the ability to learn from your mistakes, knowing that your best might look different from day to day. It's not about pushing yourself to burn out, but by knowing that each day you're giving it your 100%. Challenge number 4 is to evaluate the percentage you are giving in each area of your life. Not giving your best could mean one of 2 things. Either that you have the power of doing more, yet you haven't been motivated enough to do so, or that you're concentrating on things that you're truly not passionate about. And if that's the case, the book review on Ikigai can help you out with this. If you have someone in mind who needs to hear this, go ahead and send them this link. And if this episode left you hungry to know more, the book link is down below in the description.